So we're down here now in the trophy room in Ibrox Stadium. I'm joined by Jonny Martin and James Cutting, who are directors and founders at Football Fun Factory. We're going to have a little chat just about my journey as a head coach at the Football Fun Factory in Scotland.
The first one?
The very first one, yeah.
We were absolutely delighted. I remember when you came on board, Blair, and you were the first one for a little while, and then since then we've had a flurry. But I think that it takes a certain type of person to, when you're looking at a franchise opportunity, to be the first in an area, but the first in a country.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
Do you know what, actually, I said to people almost straight after it that I don't even know if I would be here if I was the second. I think that was probably the thing that swayed it for me. Obviously I came to see you guys, went to see Dave's sessions, and I really bought into it from that point. At the point for me it was obviously a gamble. I was working full time, I had kids, was married. I just didn't think I was ready for the big step, but the opportunity to be the first was really exciting for me, I think. And like I say, if there was somebody else doing it, I don't know if I would have taken that step. So nice. Maybe it might have been something that would have put people off, but for me it was probably that carrot for me to take the plunge, I think.
I think, Blair, you were probably the fastest turnaround we've ever had from someone inquiring and then obviously going through the process.
Yep.
How did you find that process? And obviously you made your decision pretty quick when you came down and knew you wanted to move ahead with the opportunity.
And I think it was probably similar to being the first when I came down. So it was early December, that would be 2021. Came down to the session, had a chat to you guys. Pretty much made my mind up at that point I was going to go for it, and the onboarding day was the first week in January.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So I was a bit like, well, the next onboarding day was, what was that, been 3 months after
it'd be March, yeah.
And it was kind of that way, I'm eager to go. I would rather just go all out and try and turn this over by January than wait another few months. Although then when I realised trying to get a hold of venues over Christmas and organise things over Christmas, it probably wasn't the most sensible idea, but you learn from those mistakes. But no, it worked out. We got through the onboarding, and it was a quick turnaround, but all good.
If you think back to those times now where you were at that point, thinking about the franchise, taking on the franchise, of course, you'd have had a preconceived idea of what would have happened next.
Yeah.
So if you think back to that moment, if you can, to where you are now here today, has it been what you expected, and how's the journey been so far?
Has it been what I expected? Absolutely not. But probably because I had absolutely no idea what I expected. I kind of threw myself into the whole business side of it, of being a business owner and running my own business. And being honest, I looked forward to the challenge of it, but I had no idea what I was sort of getting myself into. Looking back now, I wouldn't change it for the world. The journey's been incredible. It's probably, like you said, that fast-paced few months. Yeah. It's continued for 3 years because it's grown. I've taken on new opportunities very quickly as well, and I think I've just sort of kept up that pace all the way through.
So obviously now, where you are on your journey, just become a management franchisee and looking to then grow and expand your community, which is great. What has been a highlight for you if you look back though at the fast-paced 3 years that it has been?
Do you know what was probably a big highlight for me was at the franchise conference last year was winning a Blue Card award. And I think for me, probably not just for that moment there, but it probably showed me how far I'd came in the sort of journey up until that point. I mean, the franchise conference is brilliant because it's the one opportunity to meet up with all the other head coaches, and there's brilliant people there who are all striving to do the same thing. So for me to get that recognition there was probably not one for sort of self-reflection and looking back. I like to just play on with things. So that was probably a moment where I thought, do you know what, I'm doing all right here.
Nice.
So tell us a bit about your community, Blair. So the sessions that you run, the community impact that you're making.
Probably been the last 2 days going around and talking to my community and talking about my community. That's probably when the point where it's really setting in for me how much this is community driven and how much the community means to the sort of success of my business and vice versa. Like the sessions that I'm putting on, we went and visited my children's school, the primary school and the secondary school campus is also where I deliver 6 TOTS sessions, 2 football fun and development sessions. I've done countless events for the school, and just even walking through the school, everybody knows who I am in the school, the girls in the office, the janitors, but because they're all great help to me and I give something back to the school as well. So I think doing this sort of video and capturing what we've done in the last few days has really brought it home how powerful it is really being in the community and the amount of different people you bump into that that what I'm doing means a lot to them, and vice versa, how they've managed to help me grow the business and get kids involved. So
no, that's great. And what would you say are your hopes for the future then? So as we've got to this point now, a few years in, taking on the management franchise, expanding, where do you want to be in another 3 years' time?
It's probably another thing that I'm not great at, is setting myself sort of personal goals. I think probably because I sort of move at that pace all the time, I've sort of, but I think as a management franchisee and also now my lead head coach role, I've got to manage my time better, which probably means to start setting myself some more sort of realistic and longer term goals. So for me, we spoke a bit about the Haven partnership, which is going to be down in Ayr, and that is somewhere that I want to be looking to move into pretty soon as well. And I think the Haven partnership is going to go hand in hand with me expanding into Ayr. So I see all the kids in Kilmarnock that I've got involved in football and Troon, and I just want to grow that across Ayrshire as well, and not just in Kilmarnock, because Ayrshire is part of my community as well. So
yeah, I think, mate, looking back at the last 3 years, we're so excited to see the continued impact that you can make in new areas and your existing communities, and continue to grow the Football Fun Factory message far and wide across Scotland.